one questionable moment that occurred involved Romain Grosjean, who spun at the Shelton Chicane. When Grosjean got the car refired, he looped the car back around into oncoming traffic, where he was then turned around by Christian Rasmussen. And it's a shame for Grosjean and that whole number 77 Juncos Hollinger racing team, because Grosjean was having a really good run inside the top five. And it was also Rasmussen's final IndyCar race of the season before Ed Carpenter finishes out the year on the ovals. Race control gave Grosjean a drive-through penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. I feel like we don't really see unsportsmanlike conduct called too often in IndyCar races. So, Ben, how dangerous were Grosjean's actions?
Well, it wasn't great. I mean, I was with forget if it was Townsend or James in the booth, but just like, what are you doing? I mean, just to loop the car around and not be aware that you're in a motor race and there's oncoming traffic, oncoming cars that are going to be taking the racing line up against the curb in the Shelton Chicane there. Just a completely brain dead move, I think, from Romain Grosjean. And like you said, Kobe, it was a shame because the good Grosjean was having a good run, but the bad Grosjean rose from the ashes. Somebody tweeted that. Forgive me, I'm not going to give the attribution there because I forget who it was, but it was really unfortunate because he had a good qualifying run. It looked like he was on pace. Juncos Hollinger Racing was on pace for a good finish, one of their better finishes of the year, and he just made a mistake, couldn't close the deal out. But then he added insult to injury by pulling out in front of the racing groove and getting spun around again. And then he did it again, second time there. So it's just an unfortunate situation. But at the same time, if you're Grosjean, I think it was absolutely a justifiable, deserved penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, because certainly a veteran driver like him with as much experience as he has in single-seater open wheel racing, you've got to be smarter than that.
Yeah, definitely. And going through my mind when I saw this, I was thinking, Grosjean, you should really know better by now, given all the experience he has in Formula One. Didn't have a few years of IndyCar under his belt now. I just couldn't believe when I saw him looping around. I was thinking, don't do it. Yeah, but he did it, and like I said, unfortunately, ruined Christian Rasmussen's day as well. I'm sure Rasmussen wanted to end his final IndyCar race this year, on a high note heading into next year. Yeah, but it was an unfortunate situation to have him. But I do think that race control got it right when they called the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Grosjean there. Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what Grosjean's future looks like, because I was reading an article earlier in the week from from motorsport.com, and the co-owner Ricardo Juncos was saying, the team absolutely loves Grosjean and they want to bring him back into the future, because as you can see, it seems like he's had an influence on that car, because Juncos Hollinger Racing, since they've gone full-time in IndyCar, they've slowly gotten better over time. And it seems like, since when they added Grosjean this year, although the results, don't necessarily reflect the speed we've seen in this car, it really seems like that, this team is headed in the right direction. And Ricardo Juncos was given a lot of credit to Romain Grosjean and all his years of racing experience. So if this group can stay together, I think they could potentially build something special. And like I was saying at the beginning of the year, I thought Grosjean going to Juncos Hollinger Racing was an excellent move for him, because I think when he's with a large, with one of the top teams like Andretti Global, there's just a lot of pressure on him, and I don't think Grosjean does well when there's a lot of pressure on him to perform. I think with an underdog team like Juncos Hollinger Racing, that he has a better chance of going out there, and getting the results that he needs. Unfortunately, today wasn't one of those days where he got the result. Yeah, and Juncos also mentioned that Romain Grosjean has other offers for 2025, so we'll see where he goes in next season in the IndyCar series.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different layers to what's going to happen with Grosjean for sure. And excuse me, I don't think today certainly helped. It actually kind of reminded me of what we saw in a NASCAR race, and we'll get into NASCAR here in just a moment. But I think Corey LaJoie brought back some Kevin LePage memories, nearly pulling out into the groove. Obviously, thankfully, we didn't have a situation like that last night, but kind of a mini version of that here. Obviously, the speeds aren't nearly as high, and it didn't affect nearly as many cars, but you got to be smarter than that if you're Romain Grosjean in that situation for sure.